Hey, how's it going, fellow INFJers? I think that's how I'm going to start my videos from now. What do you think? Is it cool? What I want to talk about is a conversation that I actually had with my wife just last night. And what it kind of relates to is INFJ rage. So I come across the INFJ rage, and it has like really connected with me in the moments of now and the state of my mind as of just this past month. I think it's been maybe longer. I don't know. But anyway, so I had this conversation with my wife, and the reason why I brought it up is because it's been happening too often, and I've never felt like this in my entire life. And like I look back on the years, like even when I got into fights, none of my fights were like me being rageful or aggressive. It was mostly in self-defense. That was the thing that I always tried to do, is avoid fights. But when it would happen, I focused on technique so I could win the fight. And even arguments, I've always been like really, where I'm not engaging in arguments. I talk, but I never yell. I never even raised my voice until like recently. Yeah, like past 5 years is when I started raising my voice. I never did that before. Everything that I can look back at, it's it hasn't happened. And before we go forward, I know all the emotional regulation techniques. I've even, because of one of my relationships, I took anger management, so I learned it there as well. And when I was going for custody of my oldest son, these were all classes and everything that I had to take to show the courts that I am a stable, emotionally stable father. So I went above and beyond to win custody. Anyway, so that's where I learned emotional regulation techniques the first time, and plus when I became an empowerment facilitator, I learned how to teach that and like really practice it in my life. So the emotional regulation is not a problem. It goes on constantly, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know how to emotionally regulate your emotions and your thoughts, it's a constant thing. I think, is this a constant thing for other INFJ people? Because I do that nonstop. Like everything that has been upsetting me as of lately, like I'm emotionally regulating everything. But then, like what the INFJ rage like helped me look at is the 3 levels of INFJ rage and what that looks like. And it's able to relate in my mind, and I'm like able to attach everything. All right, yeah, this is the level I'm at. 3 levels. So like the first level is raging in the brain constantly. Like, so there's also 3 levels that I engage in this rage. So like the 3 places would be at work, at home, and in private. So raging in the brain, what does that look like? At work, I got this. He's like a manager, but he gets under my skin, and he's always saying stuff that like questions my morals and my work ethic. And I swear, if they compared me to other people, I'm like nonstop working when I'm at work. If I'm not finding anything to do, I find stuff to do. Or if I don't have anything to do, I find stuff to do. That's what I mean. So when he questions what I'm doing, or I'm trying to get out of work or anything like that, it just irks me. Anyway, so that when he does that, like in my mind, like I zone out, just like give him dead face. And I like a lot of times I don't really listen, but what's going on in my brain, I'm freaking raging out, like, oh my God, like I'm yelling at him and just imagining what I wish I could do, but I emotionally regulate. Then even at home, it's the same thing. when I have these triggers at home because they don't clean for days, or they leave stains for days, or anything, or they're not trying to help one another, or all these triggers at home. That's what goes on in my brain, and I'm just like, oh my God, how many times I gotta do this constantly? Like, I do not like getting angry. I don't like getting mad. Like, please, I plead with them, and they don't get it. So that raging goes on in my brain, like, Then in private, it does the same thing. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, why? No, okay, so that's the first level of raging in the brain, right? That's one of the levels. And the second level, that I'm not taking it what he called verbatim or what I've heard, but it's basically acting out the rage in a way. It's not full on rage, but it's acting out from rage. And so I'll use the examples again. So at work, just recently, just yesterday, was one of the things that I brought up with my wife too. Is so that guy, that manager, sometimes he manages, but he's been there for quite a long time, and he has some say, but he's that ignorant one and questions my morals and my work ethic. Anyway, so I was prepping this order, and I thought he was bringing up a pizza to me, so I grabbed the pizza, and he's like, no, this is not yours. It's like, for real? He was like, yeah, this is for the pre-order, fool. He called me fool, and it was kind of like a regular fool, but just because this dude, he gets under my skin, it kind of irked me. It was kind of a trigger. Anyway, I was like, oh, all right. And I was about to go do something else until my order was ready. He was like, hey, can I get the marker from you? And because we're supposed to mark and like tell what's in the order, the box, and what number it is, so we can make sure. Anyway, you probably know what I'm talking about. But he asked for the marker, and I was like, nah, it's my marker. And I walked away. Like, he's part of the hierarchy, but like, those are just little ways that I kind of get back at him. And I kind of do it in a playful way, just for me to feel comfortable, but I'm not acting like a jerk. So that's the way that goes on. But then also how I act out at home when from rage is that, like, I've done it multiple times where I've grabbed all the dirty stuff laying around, the dishes, and you can tell whose stuff it is. I go put it like in their doorway, pile it up, or I even put it in their room and just like put it all over the place. Like, whoever did it is like, man, I don't want to see this. And just, or I've done it where I just put it all in the living room, all on the floor. It's like, you guys leave this stuff laying around all the time. Like, what's the difference? And I see if they're going to pick it up. And oh my God, a lot of times they don't even pick that stuff up. They just walk around it, ignore it. And their mentality is like, oh, I didn't make this mess. So then how I do it in private, where I act out, is like I write out a post or make a video. A lot of times when I do make a post, like on Facebook or whatever, I delete it after a while, or I delete it before I even post it. So that's the act out. Next goes into the rage mode, the actual rage mode. So thinking about raging out at work, I've never ever raged out at work at any of my work sites. Never happened. I don't think it ever will. How it happens at home, I end up arguing with my wife, and this is like very, very rare. Like, I swear, me and my wife has only argued like angrily from rage about 5 times, and we've been together for 12 years. So like, we're both introverts. She's an ISFP, and I'm an INFJ. So like, we're both used to like containing and I guess kind of bottling the emotions, or what we're thinking about, until we can filter it out in our privacy or whatever it may be. I don't know how she does it, but that's how I do it. But then also other ways that I do it at home is like I've actually screamed once. Like I was like pleading, like, oh my God. And like my voice like went so high, it sounded like a scream. And I was like, whoa. In my brain, I was like, whoa, what just happened, dude? Chill out. Step back. And it was because these kids they're being ignorant as heck, and they're trying to like, because the thing that they got is that they're able to flip it with my wife, and they make it look like I'm being, what do you call, unreasonable. And they're, it's kind of like, you know, when little kids are little babies, like, oh, he hurt me. When a parent comes around, that's what they do with her. Oh, or they go sneak and tell her, oh, he was being this way. Oh, he cut off internet. Oh, and they find reasons to place blame on me or have an excuse why I did something wrong. And it's never flipped on them, really, where they have to take ownership of what they're doing wrong. They're able to play it off, and that's so annoying. That's a huge trigger for me. Then how I rage in private, it's always like constantly like, what the, like WTF type of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, one time I threw an old phone at the wall. That was like the first time I've ever done something like that. I threw it. I wanted a new phone, so that's why I kind of threw it. It's like, threw it and broke it. And the other times it's just, man, I cry. I sit and do that out in my car and just cry. Or if I'm up here alone in my room or wherever, I rage out and I cry. I do it in private. I don't yell out or anything like that. But it just boils up and gets too much for me that I gotta let it out, and it comes out in tears. I think I've actually done the straight out bawl and cry, with my face in the pillow and everything. It hurts, man. Like, cause there's no escape for these triggers, and like I said, most of my life I've never had to experience and go through this, where I'm having these constant rage. And the reason why I brought it up, like, because I was telling my wife, I don't know what to do. It was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to go to anger management. But then when I think about anger management, I know the techniques and I do the techniques, so they're not going to be able to help me do that. So then, like, I try and talk to her, but she doesn't know what to say. And so that's where I'm stuck. I don't have people to talk to. I don't know who to talk to. And it makes you choke up. Makes you tear up. So then, like, I was even, like, thinking, like, damn it, am I going bipolar in my mind? But if I was going bipolar, I wouldn't be able to acknowledge when I shift or when the rage comes. So since I don't lash out, then of course I get a little bad at times, but it's not even bad in comparison to things I've known, seen, grown up with, all of that. It's nowhere in comparison to that or other people's relationships that I've seen and see. Or even chop it up to being like, man, do old men go through menopause? Because I always hear the old angry men, like, do they go through some form of thing? And is that what I'm going through? Because, like, I need to find some reason why I'm having these unbearable emotions and thoughts. Because I summed it up into, like, because I really feel like I'm going to end up having a stroke soon. It's just too much. Like, well, that's the only way I see it playing out. And I don't want to have that. that's where I'm at. So that's why I'm making INFJ channel. So people could relate or understand, or maybe they've found solutions if they've experienced this. Like, what do I do? What have you done? I don't know. It's kind of a plea. Like, please. I don't make enough money to pay for therapy. It's basically all the stuff that I do already, too. I find creative ways, hobbies, journaling, all of this stuff. I've done healing things. That's where I'm at. That's a plea that I got. That's how INFJ rage has affected me right now. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Live long and prosper. Just kidding. I'm still not going to do that. Spock. Y'all know Spock. All right. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Bye.